your money, your credit, even the equity in your home. Don't wait until you become the next victim. Call 1-800-440-6750 and use promo code Wi-Fi for 60 days of LifeLock identity theft protection and get a document shredder free. Call now 1-800-440-6750 or go to lifelock.com/Wi-Fi.
Jake Tapper reports the uncommon valor of Clint Romeshay. CNN tomorrow night, 8 Eastern.
How about that? A live image of a place without snow. Good morning, D.C. You're looking at pictures of the U.S. Capitol where they escaped the big blizzard this time around. Time for our look at the top political stories of the week, but we will actually start with next week. On Tuesday, President Obama gives his State of the Union address, but most of the talk has been about the Republican response. It'll be given by Florida Senator Marco Rubio. He is on the cover of the new issue of Time magazine. It's being called the Republican Savior. Rubio's responded with this tweet: "There is only one savior, and it's not me. #Jesus. Rubio is clearly, though, the star of his party right now. And joining me now to talk about Rubio and the rest of the political hot topics, CNN contributor Maria Cardona and Amy Holmes, anchor of Real News on the Blaze. And Maria, I know that you were talking this week about the fact that Rubio will give part of the response in Spanish. So, good move? Do you think it's really going to sway Latino voters?
Well, I'll say this, Martin. It is a good move because the Republican Party, when it comes to Latinos, they're starting from less than zero. So anything that they do will count towards trying to attract Latino voters. But it's going to take more than words. It's going to take more than Spanish words. They got to do more than talk the talk. They got to start walking the walk. So what does that mean? Marco Rubio can speak Spanish on Tuesday night, but then he has to make sure to lead his party towards, for example, on immigration, something that will lead to a path to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented immigrants that are here. That is what the Latino community has clamored for, and frankly, the majority of the American people are there. When it comes to other issues, they are also going to have to not just change their tone, but change their policies. Stop talking about repealing Obamacare that gives 9 million Latinos health care coverage that didn't have it before. That is where we're going to see the truth as to whether he is the savior, as Time magazine puts it, of the Republican Party.
All right, Amy, well, it seems like Republicans might be bending over backwards to be more inclusive when it comes to Latinos, but I'm wondering any danger they might alienate the base?
Well, with the Time magazine cover, beware the buildup. The media loves that. They also like to tear the person down. And Marco Rubio, he is one of the stars of the Republican Party. But as we saw at the Republican convention, there are a number of stars in the Republican Party that are trying to create a bigger tent, a more diverse, more inclusive Republican Party. But as far as Marco Rubio goes, he's an interesting sort of figure for Republicans, not just because of his Hispanic background and his ability to speak Spanish and reach out to Spanish language listeners, but also because he is a Tea Party favorite and he won statewide in a swing state in Florida. That is very key, as we know, to 2016 and presidential elections, and it's very key to the Republican Party to be able to win, you know, in a swing state, in a blue state, and reach that kind of constituency, not just the Latino community.
And let's talk about Christie this week. A new poll showed that his approval rating over 70%. So far, no really big names have been thrown or have thrown their hat.
Big, no pun intended.
Yeah, there you go. We're getting to that in just a minute, as a matter of fact. And then there was this. Take a listen to this.
I've made jokes about you, not just one or two, not just ongoing here and there, intermittent, but...
I didn't know this was going to be this long.
And I think that's what you were getting to, Amy. You know, the only negative was the chatter about his weight and the health implications. And I want to ask you both, you know, who could win, Christie or Marco Rubio, Amy?
Who who could win the Republican nomination in 2016? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess that's a good one.
It's a wide open field. Again, no pun intended. I think Chris Christie is showing a great sense of humor and ability to poke fun at himself. I've met Chris Christie, and he's round. He's just not very tall. So I think that's where you get sort of those proportions with him. And one of Chris Christie's great appeals, though, is that he's the common guy. He has the common touch, and clearly being on with David Letterman, he was able to show that and showcase that that great communication ability.
And Maria, you agree?
I do, actually. I think Chris Christie, it does have a much broader appeal than a lot of the Republicans that are being talked about as presidential material for 2016. I think the problem for Chris Christie, though, is that he might have too much appeal among Democrats. And we saw that in during the election when Chris Christie's wide embrace of President Obama did not make very many Republicans very happy, and a lot of them were grumbling that this is going to have a real effect on Chris Christie's path to trying to get the Republican nomination if he so chooses in 2016. So right now I think it's working very much to his advantage. New Jersey is a Democratic-leaning state, and so that does work to his advantage. I do think he's got great comedic timing. So if it doesn't work out in 2016 for him, he could always get a stint on the Comedy Channel, on Comedy Central.
Yeah, I think you're right. He carries himself very well, as I would say. So, Maria Cardona and Amy Holmes, thank you very much for joining in the conversation here, and it's nice to see you both in a place that's not buried in snow. All right, across the Northeast, though, CNN viewers have been helping us tell the story of the historic blizzard. Like this guy, who can't get back out his door. More of your pictures and your videos right after this break.
I was the strongest woman in the world, and something still went wrong. I had cancer. So I went to Cancer Treatment Centers of America for my treatment.